Nepal is a landlocked country wedged between the eastern giants of India and China. Hindus and Buddhists live together in harmony. Nepal has some of the most extreme landscapes on earth, from the ice-capped Himalayan mountains to the dense jungles of Chitwan National Park. Many Nepalese people live in poverty in remote rural villages. The cities are expanding rapidly, creating problems for health and increasing pollution in the streets. Busier traffic without safety standards has led to catastrophic numbers of people dying or being injured on the roads. Until recently, Nepal, like many other developing nations, has had no trained, coordinated ambulance service. Ambulances exist in Nepal, but they are not coordinated, governed, trained or equipped. They are no different from taxis.
There is a need for a proper ambulance service, and patients are dying because we haven't had professional help on the way. Although there are lots of ambulances in the country, most of these vehicles just act as a taxi with a siren, basically. When they bring in their vehicles, there may be people who have been unconscious and they are kept in a position where they cannot breathe and the airway is not maintained, and they just carry the trauma victims, they lift them by the arms and the legs and just dump them in a vehicle.
Actually, there is no trained person, take for example, as such, if there is trauma happened, they don't know how to take care of cervical spine, how to transport patient, how to, handling patient and put in which positions. If the people get cervical spine injury, the person will have, definitely complete paralysis. They don't have oxygen, and some of the patients, they die on the way to the hospital. I have seen that. This is quite, distressing for us.
The Nepali Ambulance Service is a completely non-profit social organisation for the society, by the society, providing emergency healthcare in Nepal. This is the first time a medical ambulance service has been introduced in the country.
We think that in a proper EMS service, there are three important things. One is a properly equipped ambulance. Second is the trained personnel, known as EMTs. And third is the call center, where people can call, and that there should be a toll-free 3-digit number. And both the MFR drivers as well as the paramedics are very well trained to actually transfer these patients. And I think that can save a lot of lives. It's a very day-to-day affair that we find patients being brought dead to the emergencies, and when we ask the patient's family, they say no, the family member were actually breathing, on the way, and it's on the way that they actually died. Why did we start this organization? I think I need to go back several years back when I was a medical student. I had an aunt who had a COAD, quite severe, and one night when I was called to her home, we found out she was very blue, cyanotic, and she didn't look good. So we called an ambulance, which took quite a long time to come. And when it came, we transferred her to the ambulance, which we had to do ourselves. And there was no oxygen and no help at all. So by the time we took her to a hospital, which was 2 kilometers away, she was dead. And from that time, I was thinking, no, this is not the proper ambulance service, and we need to do something about it. I think many people have the notion that it takes a lot of expensive equipments and a lot of high-tech equipments to actually save lives, and that is actually not true. So one of the things we have focused very much on the Nepal Ambulance Service ambulance are these simple equipments. They do not cost a lot, cervical collars, hardboards, but we think that simple measures with good knowledge and good skills can actually save lives. We were very fortunate to have Stanford University, Department of Emergency, help us in training the ambulance, and I think their contribution is huge, because without their contribution, I don't think we would have gone forward. They encouraged us, and they said very categorically that we will look after the training part, and which they did. So they came here on their own funds and trained our EMTs, and that was a very long training, 3 months of training, exams, followed by on the road, on the ambulance training for another 3 months.
We graduated the 50 EMTs, and out of them we selected 21. 6 per dispatcher and 15 for the ambulance. And when we feel they are confident, then we start our service. This is the ring road. The green line is the ring road. And our ambulance is situated in the 5 strategic locations, just like 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, and 1 year.
The EMTs will travel up to 3 hours outside the city at a border of another district to reach a patient. When someone calls 102, the dispatcher asks for their number, location, and the patient's condition. The dispatcher transmits this information to the nearest ambulance, who then contacts and meets the patient and provides treatment along the way to the hospital. The EMTs then tell the doctor what treatment has been given in the ambulance.
बाहिर जिल्लाबाट चाहिँ एयरपोर्टमा ल्याउँदैछन् र हामी बिरामी एयरपोर्ट लिन जान लागेको हो। अनि औषधिहरू खुवाउँदा बच्चालाई केही एलर्जीहरू देखा परेछ, शरीरमा डाबरहरू त्यस्तो छैन हैन? हजुर कन्डिसन भने अक्सिजन कम छ हैन, अक्सिजन चाहिँ कम छ, त्यसपछि मेन्टेन भइराछ, अहिले 84 भइराछ, पल्स रेट चाहिँ हाई थियो, अलि घटिराछ।
The baby should be getting at least some first aid or at least some basic supplements in the way. Yeah, the baby which was brought right by the ambulance is in a very critical condition. We know that the baby has some problem in the heart, and it is congenital, means baby had it during birth. So baby's heart is having some impact on baby's lung. So baby is having chest infection because of his condition in the heart, and because of the chest infection the baby is not able to respire well.
हजुरले रिसिभ गर्ने हो यो केस? भनेपछि 6 महिनाको बच्चा हैन, झापाबाट चाहिँ रेफर गरेर पठाएको मुटुको प्रब्लम भनेर।
So based on the baby's current condition, baby might even need some kind of surgical intervention also in the future. If we don't respire for more than 3 minutes, it might have some permanent effect in our brain. So the first 2 to 3 minutes can be very vitally important. It is the time which can cost the life of the patient. So the care which is given in the ambulance is more vitally important, is even more important than the care that we give in the hospital. So I think the baby is surviving because of ambulance. So people don't know about the importance of the ambulance. That's the reason that they don't give any concern about its safety while it is carrying patients, especially during strikes.
The biggest hurdle still for us is the financing and the funding. I think at one time or the other the government has to take this initiative under their own umbrella, and we would like to help the government to actually do that, because we would like to develop a system which they can take up and then replicate it in other regions. The EMTs that we have at present, I think I'm very proud of them. They're working very hard, and the feedback that we have got from the people that have used the ambulance has been very, very positive. And their professional attitude, their caring attitude, I think is the most important asset that this organization has, and we are actually very proud of them.
Save the life along the way is the main motto of our Nepal ambulance services. Save the life along the way.
We are hope for good future for the nurse and for our future too.
ढाका टोपी शिरमा मेरो कमरमा पेटी मान्छे हेर्दा केटा केटी कुरा गर्छौ जेठी हामी जस्तो पाउँदा अरू भेट्छन् मरी मेटी भोलि कुरा गर्छु तिम्रो माइतीलाई भेटी ए हैन भने कलिलो तामालाई सोधरामा